Yeah, we're live. It's much faster getting live there. It's Sam and Richard, and Praveen is here. Hey, Praveen. Richard, Praveen, Richard.
Hi.
Praveen, Richard
Hello.
is one of our instructors who uses the MOOC materials for his course, and Richard Praveen is one of our premium members who's helping out on website 1 at the moment. And so here we are. It has been, I have been away, I have come back. America has had its extremely long summer break, but is of course back to school far earlier than we are here in the UK. Richard, your class has already started, I presume?
Right. We are about to be in the 3rd week.
Goodness me. Yes. Wow. So there's various updates I can give, but did you want to just go through like stuff that is high priority for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell you the little the status and small story, and let me just bring up my little list of things. So we started a few weeks ago. I got your Spock, edited it. Everything's good. And changes, but I guess it's not a huge deal to just remake them each time. We got going on homework 1 now, which is the Ruby intro, which are going to be the few questions or comments that I have. So I'll be getting back to that.
Okay.
Tomorrow, this week, which begins tomorrow, I'm planning to release the Ruby calisthenics. That's the one that I reinserted. And just this morning here, prior to this call, I started adding that to the MOOC, to the Spock. And I got the first part in there, and it looks like I did an AutoGrader with just the template and got 0, and I did an AutoGrader with a solution on just one part, the fun with strings, and got 100. So I'm assuming that was one thing that I was gonna say. If you do see an email from me, which would be late tonight, early this morning, just keep that in mind if I run into some problem. But so far so good.
Okay.
Hi, Rose.
Hey, Rose.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Going nuts, but that's beside the point.
You're suffering from a cold, you said?
I think it's ragweed.
Ragweed, right.
Ragweed, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting over a chest infection. I think it's on the way out now, thank goodness. Yes. Yeah, good to see you, Rose. I guess usually this is not going to be a good time for you, but today is a national holiday in the US, so you are in some sense available.
Yeah, I've actually been working on my other course all morning.
Right, indeed. Glad to have you here. Yeah, we're in a special high performance hangout here that I thought we'd switch to because maybe the audio would be better. Richard's in a bit of a bandwidth deprived environment. He's just run through how's it's going for him. His class has started. We're just putting down things that we might get into in the meeting. How are things going for you? And your class has started as well, hasn't it?
Right. So far so good. We will be working in class on homework 1 on Wednesday.
Okay.
The students will have already started it. So
okay.
And we already did a little TDD exercise to get them warmed up last week.
And things are all going smoothly otherwise?
Well, as far as the clock and everything is concerned, so far so good. Other things maybe not so much.
Right. There we go. Okay. And so yes, we should talk about meeting times. Other things, we've got AutoGrader transitions, and we've also got assignment walkthroughs. So the main things, and also we've got the MOOC part 2 has just finished.
Great.
We're going to have a new this is the edX self-paced run starting end of September. And the main things from my side is oh, go on.
Is that a self-paced on what?
A self-paced on
2, both.
It's going to be part 1, and I guess we're releasing it like all together. Although we've only set up part 1, there will still be 2 separate classes. Although I don't know that makes sense for them to be separate. That would be, I guess, another negotiation with edX. At the moment, it's going to be part 1. I mean, I get one thing out of the door and then worry about the part 2. Actually, if it would make a lot of sense to combine it in some ways. But yeah, I mean, edX is it's interesting that they're very keen for courses to be like of 6 weeks in length because they think that people won't commit to doing it for longer than that. But of course, now it's self-paced. What it means is that the class is open for at the moment we've got it set at 6 months, and there's a discussion about should it be 3 months or 6 months or what have you. Apparently edX is recommending 3 months. They're kind of really saying that self-paced courses are great, but there needs to be a little kind of impetus on students. So they're talking about some sort of dynamic pacing thing that they want to introduce to make self-paced a bit more like instructor-led classes. And yes, anyway, that's all going on in the background. The main news is that I did actually have time over the summer to work on some of the different parts of the system, including getting the AutoGrader largely running on Azure.
Great.
So to Azure, which hopefully should save Berkeley some money. Now that the MOOC Part 2 has finished, I was about to just switch everything over. It's certainly good for me to know that your students have all started homework 1. I might not switch that over immediately, or at least be very cautious about switching that over, so your students don't experience outages. The thing that I have done that you probably know about already, but I'll just particularly draw your attention to because it was something that I had meant to do before and got put off, is that we do now have some walkthroughs of the assignments. You remember how a couple of years ago I did video walkthroughs?
Right.
And my memory was the feedback on that was that they were great, but kind of could we have some text-based ones because that was kind of they're more usable. I don't know if that's my that's my sort of memory. So what we've got now, if you guys should have access to this, this is the CI workspace for Ruby Intro that contains the solutions, and it should also contain now a Ruby Intro walkthrough thing, which is basically me having typed out in Markdown how to do everything step by step.
Great.
Nice.
And I've done that for a number of assignments now. And if we go on to some of the other ones, I think I've put more. Let's look at the Rails intro one. I've put like a warning in the front saying that these are very opinionated walkthroughs. Where I've done it. Rails intro CI. Where I in places slag off the assignment or this, that, and the other, and talk about the way. There we go. These are opinionated walkthroughs from San Jose. Opinions expressed are those of San Jose alone and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of UC Berkeley or any of its employees. So do bear that in mind.
That should be. You need to remove that apostrophe from its.
Do I? Excellent. Yes. Good point. Yes. Well, we want to have the legal paperwork. Completely correct if we possibly can. So do bear that in mind when preparing legal papers. Yeah. There we go. So I hope you'll find these a sort of a useful reference. Yeah, I think the big advantage of them being in this format is that potentially we can have a discussion around different alternatives for different bits and pieces and so on and so forth. I've done the BDD Cucumber CI ones, and yeah, I'm going to be hopefully moving on to the acceptance unit test cycle.
Okay. And I assume there's no reason you would have done the calisthenics in there. That's not something
I have not. Although part of my mission is once I've definitely got all of the homeworks onto Azure and all working wonderfully well there. In order to save UC Berkeley money, we do need to move the
okay.
off the legacy grader and onto the new grader on Azure, I think. So yeah, that's part of my plan. Yeah. So I will. Did I go through calisthenics? I don't think I did. We can just look at that.
Okay, so as long as you have in the back of your mind, and you know, I'll probably need the first two homeworks, calisthenics and intro, for, let's say, maybe 3 more weeks or so.
Yeah.
2-3 more weeks.
Yeah. Let's have a look there. Calisthenics. Yeah, it's still. Yeah, it's all the old training. I haven't worked through it. So what I have also done is working through them. I've been through, and let's say, for example, we look at the Sinatra assignments. I've put in a lot of pull requests to fix up issues in the documentation, which Armando has merged in, so that now in all of the self-check questions, all of the formatting is working correctly. That's not a good example of where it was failing, but yeah, these things are now. Yeah, so there's hopefully been, you may see some minor improvements in the text for at least the first 4 assignments, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's my complete update. Shall we? Well, apart from having, we'll come to meeting times at the end. Richard, did you want to? There were some things that you wanted to highlight related to.
Yeah. So what? Here's what I have, having done the intro. And I'm hearing a little echo from me of myself. So there were problems in the class where people would have the wrong Ruby version compared to what was probably specified in the gem file, and giving people sort of various errors. And they're also wrong, sort of similar thing with RSpec. My TAs, I was hoping to have some of them here in this meeting, so that hasn't happened. So I don't know I'm going to have anything other than anything more specific to work on other than a report, unless you have any insight. But we asked people, like, did you start with a blank workspace? Did you run the curl script? Did you start with Ruby? All that stuff is, in my opinion, Richard Ilsen's, that is what the cause of these problems are. But I did not get consistent corroborating reports from the students and from the TAs. So they were intent on fixing things, and I was trying to more intent on trying to figure out, like, what the underlying cause was. Also with the RSpec, when a student came to me with RSpec problems, because we would roam around the class, I said, forget about, do you know how to test this yourself? And I would go into, like, just testing themselves mode. So I tended not to even worry about the RSpec issues, and my TAs felt differently about that. Okay.
Right. Your TAs felt, what did your TA, how was the TA's position?
That my TA one of my TAs really liked, was happy and liked doing the RSpec, so he would get that working for people, as opposed to me, who I would say, don't worry about that, and let's just do some manual tests, and that's good enough for now.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, doing tests without involving the RSpec framework. Fair enough. Right. Yes. Yeah. I mean, so my recommendation personally is to avoid using this setup script. I mean, I'm just checking. It does say 2.3 there, but I don't know that. The RSpec's necessarily. Your audio is breaking up. Yeah, the curl script. Your audio is breaking up very badly at the moment. Richard. But yeah. I mean, I have, what I also did as part of my walkthrough of this is I did it on a completely clean version of C9, like starting with a user in no way associated with me, so like having to go in and create a new account with the credit card, and starting completely from scratch with the blank workspace. And I encountered no issues whatsoever as a result of not using the curl script. And so my general suggestion is, I mean, I think it's the problem is that yeah, I don't know. There are not resources are not being expended to maintain the curl script. So I mean, if we go back and have a look here again at the intro, yeah, I mean, 2.3 should be.
I don't know how my audio. The problem is students not to run the script. It's into the SAS book side, which probably in the future I have to not do if I want them to not run the curl script, because it's part of the setup instructions there.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's. I mean, I when we last spoke about it with Armando, I think he was becoming. What's the word? He was becoming more like, yeah, sure, whatever about it, if you know what I mean. So I was just trying to go here. This is the. Remember how I just wanted to look up there. If I sign in with ventures.org, yeah, so Praveen's suggesting that the versions of the gems in Ruby can be locked. The Ruby version certainly can be locked, and I think just by having the Ruby version in the gem file, we do lock that to 2.3. What I wanted to just check here was that what the version of Ruby was on the C9 instance. I think if I log in here, yeah, so this is anyway, yeah, so I guess we've got an action item there which is like kind of actively removing the I don't know though that necessarily the curl script would cause any problem.
Right.
I've got no evidence that it would. It's, yeah, although it's slightly surprising to hear that they have issues with Ruby versions on the IDE. We've got like, this is remove curl script mention from setup. I mean, I think that, it's just like, I just love things being simple and simpler. Just make it as simple as possible. The fewest number of steps to do things. And I noticed Armando's been through and re-added the instruction to all of the assignments that people should fork the assignment first and then clone, which I had carefully removed. But
oh, really? Okay, that's very interesting, because I have been re-adding that.
You've been re-adding that to calisthenics, have you?
I've been re-adding that to my own Spock.
Oh, okay.
And why? Because if they fork first, then they can later push stuff back. And if they don't fork, then I don't have an easy way to see their code, and they don't have an easy way to save it in the cloud. Am I right about that?
You are right that it's easier for it's easier for them to push. If they forked it, it's then straightforward to push it back. It means that the solutions go into the visibly into the cloud, but I guess we've given up on trying to avoid that. And so yeah, if we don't care about the solutions being pushed into public repos, which at some level, unless you pay me to say otherwise, I don't care, then forking it is fine. Although, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, isn't it? I mean, it's a feature that we want from the graders, that it would allow all the instructors to see all the students' code and what they actually submitted and what actual things they'd received as instructions. But all of that is somewhat complicated. So yeah, and maybe Armando has also kind of like said, yes, everybody should just see it. So yes, Armando's been through all the
I agree. I personally, all the solutions weren't in the cloud, but I think I feel that ship has sailed.
Yeah. I mean, it's what can you do really? And I think the simple solution is, of course, that students submit videos of themselves pairing on doing the assignments. But yeah, we could just go over here. Well, we've got RVM installed there. RVM list. Yeah, so I certainly have Ruby 2.3 installed on this fresh workspace here.
And that was a blank one, or
that was a blank one. I guess I would just create a new one here to check. I'm fairly sure that it is 2.3 to start. You were saying the students were like they were going into C9. They were grabbing a blank workspace, and they were finding this is. I guess why do I call that added or advanced? Anyway, Ruby test public workspace. That they were just encountering a version issue. They were just encountering a conflict between.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way that I could imagine that people would. So if I got in, what have I got in here? Oh, that's interesting. Did I create even another account for like complete? Oh, I do. I have right. This is my older one. I have another. Clean. Actually, I have to do that in a different. I guess anyway. In the background there, I'll keep investigating that. I think I've got notes on all the things that you were saying there, Richard. Were there any other kind of? I mean, it sounds like that they were annoyances, but that you coped and it's kind of under control.
Yeah. And so something that comes to mind is that we may not have been doing the best way of fixing, identifying. If they knew of a couple of like steps to say, well, issue these like sort of magic commands to check the status and this and that, and these commands to sort of update or fix the problem. That might be. There's no urgency on that, but because what my TAs were telling people to do was to like edit the gem file.
Right.
Was the best.
Well, I mean, that may be the fastest way around it. Like, you know, we've got. I mean, I'll just go over here. I mean, is that open to workspace for us? Yeah. So like, this is a perfectly clean blank workspace, and the Ruby version here is like 2. Interesting. I think that's just maybe that's actually changed since I did it in the summer. If that's on 2.4. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's actually changed. Okay. There you go. Yep. So I think that has changed. So basically, okay. So here's my completely clean workspace and it had. I guess I don't know. I guess I did Ruby intro somewhere else, but like here, this is the one that I did like about 3 weeks ago in the summer, and it was on Ruby 2.3.
Wow.
And so I think since then, right, they've moved to 2.4.
And that's now tell me that is that coming from the blank workspace?
Yeah, that's the blank workspace. So basically, since I did this like about 3 weeks ago, C9 has now upgraded to 2.4 for their blank workspace. So that would explain exactly the issue that you're encountering. And as far as I know, there's not staggering differences between Ruby 2.3 and 2.4. I mean, the solutions there, if we were doing, if we grab the little workspace, if we grab this, am I just doing it in Safari? Am I? No, I'm doing it in Chrome. Chrome. Here we go. Yeah. So if I grab a copy of the workspace, I have submitted to Cloud9 like a template for our own workspace that would provide greater consistency. I haven't heard back from them yet, and that's something to follow up on. But so if I then go into here, and if I try there, so basically, presumably, all of your students were seeing this.
Yeah. Well, about some of them. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, But so like one option that they could do is follow the instruction here.
Right.
And the other option is, I think, as you're saying, your TAs, is you can just go into the gem file and do a for there, and then, you know.
Yep. Good. Okay. And is RVM installed by default?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So basically, if they follow those instructions or edit, just to repeat what you said, good.
Yeah.
So we've been on the.
So I was just showing that
I think
that was the 2 point.
I think students are following. Some of them are following. So that's why I haven't really like analytically figured out what exactly the problem is for some. So I think both routes are that's
acceptable. the danger is that it leaves you with, like, I guess if one doesn't have a recommended approach, then it leaves you with some of your students using 2.4 and some of them using 2.3, and then in principle later on, some of them can end up with a different set than the other. You can see that the Ruby 2. Like just editing the file is a much faster solution. RVM is installed by default, but then you have to wait for an entire Ruby instance to be downloaded.
Which was problematic because in some of my classes I was having severe internet connection problems. So
indeed.
Anyway.
Well, I think yes, I think we have. Right, and then there was similar issues with RSpec, which I don't. Well, that would my hypothesis there would be that if one's used the curl script, there may be differences, but then that should. Well, I wouldn't have thought that would cause a problem because we don't. Like we've got a gem file lock there, but I don't think we have. Like, we don't have a gem file lock in here, so yeah, I guess you can't give me any more information about the RSpec problem. Still there? So we're now on Ruby 2.3. But so you don't have any further information about the RSpec issue that you encountered?
From me, no, because I didn't sort of write exactly those things down. Like I said,
that's right.
Yeah. Okay, good. I may not be addressing your questions because of the audio choppiness. I'm not always hearing what you're saying.
No, that's no problem at all. No, I understand it's difficult internet situation there. I'm just trying to see if I can replicate your RSpec problem in the background there. I guess so. Rose, did any of your students encounter the same issues?
Well, I haven't seen any of them have this sort of problem yet. Now, is it because they really haven't done what they're supposed to at this point? I don't know. That could be. But you know, I'll find this sort of thing in Wednesday. I might find it out after people contact me.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. So I've just said, like, the RSpec appears to do its job sensibly, independently of whether it's on Ruby 2.3 or 2.4, or I mean, I can see there's an issue for people can follow the instruction of installing Ruby 2.3.3. So if I do here RVM use 2.3.3, but so they might have done that and like not edited the file, and the file would have started off with a 2.3 in it, and then they would get this error here, which is, you know, your Ruby version is 2.3.3, but your gem file specified 2.3, and you can get that when you run RSpec. Right. I think that. Yeah, and we have this standard issue that the solution sometimes is relatively straightforward from the description if you read the first element of the error message. But the problem, of course, is that there's a big nasty stack trace, and a lot of people will just go, oh, it's not working. So yeah, okay,
and can I check, what would you recommend is the simplest advice to give students or to help students?
It's probably to update the file here to 2.4, I think.
Edit the gem file.
Yeah, I would say, particularly if you've got yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, yeah, this is a particular situation where, you know, we're relying on the blank workspace, and having a C9 template that would say exactly this. I mean, in principle, the curl thing, yeah, might actually help us in that situation. I mean, that's,
as we go around in circles. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's yes. I mean, I think the of course the ultimate thing is that we want to inculcate in the students the idea that actually encountering these issues is part of what we're learning, as opposed to that they are obstacles that prevent us from learning anything at all. But that's Yeah.
Right, and the only thing is that happening in the first one before these people even know how to do
But yeah,
any command line stuff.
Absolutely. It's
because
yeah.
that's like this is another minor point, is that the instructions, especially the way that I have things set up, are not perfect for the complete newbie, and if someone is not in the right directory when they issue the RSpec command, it's expecting them to be at above lib at the top level directory,
Yeah.
and then they'll get file not found when they try and run the RSpec.
Yeah.
They don't know.
They don't know how to change directory.
See that
or debug.
Right, they don't. Well, they don't. They don't look at the error message and they do. Oh, it's not working. Right. So they just get all flustered.
So I mean, maybe there needs to be kind of like a homework -1, which is all about how to interpret error messages and cope with them emotionally.
And that's what we do
psychologically.
by doing this in class. That's what we do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we're resolving these problems, but I'm just sharing it. It's like
no, totally. No, I mean, I think this is all, well, it's all part of the, it's the using real stuff for classes as opposed to toy things, and there's the big attraction of it being like real world stuff, but then it's spiky. But hopefully if we could get C9 to fix on that. That's I mean, I guess it's also like I don't get any warning that they changed the custom workspace to 2.4. Like I say, it's like 3 weeks ago, and I don't know what their process is. I don't think they have a blog where they're letting us know that happens. Okay, right, interesting. I mean, I guess I'm thinking about should I go back through and update all of the assignments to be against 2.4? I mean, that's the other thing is that there's this sort of feeling of we're having students create all of these things on Heroku and what have you, and arguably, if they're doing all of that, they should be using the latest code with the latest security patches. But
right.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Rose, any other? Go on, Richard. Sorry, go on, Richard.
Can I just ask on that? And I will find this out myself soon. Do you see any? Do you have any suspicion about what we'll see with the Ruby calisthenics? I have no idea. I don't have any look whether what those gem files look like, or I'll see this myself later.
Yeah, I mean, we can just quickly look at that. Oh gosh, gone. Calisthenics. Gosh, what that would like to pull. Here we go. Ruby calisthenics. What is it even? It doesn't have a gem file. So
Okay.
At the moment, all bets are off, basically. For now, I can't find the hang it. Go on.
So that will probably minimize the problems we have.
That may, I mean, of course, it may not minimize the problems in that there may be some corner case inside it that's sensitive to some change that's come along from 2.4. If
I'm basic enough, but I could be wrong. But that if it does minimize the problem,
fingers crossed that it's
maybe not include the gem files on the earlier one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of, it swings and roundabouts. Like we want the gem files and the specification of the Ruby version to avoid those issues, but we kind of need to lock it all the way through, or not at all, to a certain extent, in terms of the user experience. So, okay.
You were going back to Rose, and then I had one other.
Okay, Rose. Anything else on your side?
No, not really. I'm sort of overwhelmed with some other issues, so I haven't thought. I hate to say it. We had this situation where over the weekend, and of course it's a long weekend. This wouldn't happen unless it were a long weekend.
Oh yeah.
I have it set up so that the bank takes out a payment every month, and it took out 4.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So my account's cleaned out. Long weekend, no money. And anyway. Right.
So that's a bank error, is it, or an error on some part of some?
Well, it certainly looks like it. It's in fact telling me that I am paid up until next year, and it's like, no, I was supposed to pay 1 payment a month, not 4.
Right. And this is for some like online service, is it?
Right. Well, I mean, it's just normal pain.
No,
but it's
right. Yes, no, it's a pain when they. Oh gosh, yes, unpleasant.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, but I'm a little, just.
No problem at all. And well, good luck in sorting that out. Yeah, unpleasant. So, but then Richard, yeah, you said you had one more thing.
Well, at least the
you've got an unlimited number of other things, and there's one that you'll share with us. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah. Next, outside of the edX and the homeworks, Code Academy.
Yes.
I've had the particular student I'm about to say in my class, in a different class before, and he's just like very high strung. He goes ballistic once he gets over the edge.
Okay.
And what he's been encountering lots of problems with Code Academy, and he sent this long with the new Learn Ruby, which looks pretty similar to the old one.
Yes.
And he sent this sort of long screed about how like things are awful and he can't get anything done and he can't do the homework because he can't do Code Academy. And so I just wanted to just check on that. I have seen in the past, just to see what other people's experiences are, I have heard lots of reports from students saying, hey, if things get funky, they just refresh the web page, the Code Academy web page, and that usually lets them move forward. This student is saying, well, that's not working reliably enough for him. Do you have any sense of anything I'm talking about, or is it just
Yeah, I haven't heard negative. I haven't heard negative things about Code Academy recently. And this is like, I'm here in Chrome. Why don't I go into Safari even? What have I done with? Let's go into this anonymous one here. Control T. No, I certainly haven't. I've switched off Code Academy. I know that they've enabled a new premium framework and this, that, and the other. I haven't heard any complaints about it. So it's certainly not something that what are they called? Oh God, what are they called? Yeah, the MOOC students have not. Yeah. I'm not aware that they're usually, pretty ready to complain about things when there is a problem. I haven't heard. Yeah.
None of have said a word about a problem. They all have gotten through it and without any problem. Could this student be having a problem with, say, their browser or something?
Yeah. Well, anyway, the guy has done. He said I've worked on 10 different browsers on 10 different computers, and
really?
He went through the whole litany. The problem is that my guess is he wasn't refreshing. He kept just trying over and over and over until it failed, and it's just unclear. He's just frustrated. The problem is that when he sends this long message to the entire class,
right?
An excuse to say, so that's more a logistic problem. I just wanted to check with you guys. It's an intermittent thing. It's always been there for me, over the years. But no one, only a few students really get out of sorts about it.
Yeah. Regardless of what is causing the problem or whether there really is a serious problem, I would remind him that this is the real world. You are going to run into problems. You're going to be frustrated. And to me, one of the major selling points of software engineering is that students have to deal with the problems that arise.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that in general. This particular situation, that like I said, the student is high strung, and we're assigning something, and he's saying I can't do it. Because it's this and that. So I got to deal with it.
But
just wanted to touch base on that.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, you recognize he's high strung. I mean, I would just gently take him aside and say, you're not going to be successful unless you learn to deal with these things calmly.
Okay, but I mean, I don't want to go on and on about it. In his long screed, he did talk about trying lots and lots and lots of things. So it's not he's just failing once and then giving
No,
up.
no. I don't mean to. I don't mean to.
He may not be trying the right thing.
Right.
And I don't, without being over his shoulder the whole time, I can't really. I just wanted to, make sure that no one was having more problems than usual.
Can you assign a TA to work with him and see exactly what he's experiencing?
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see.
That might
We'll
be
see.
useful.
I'll deal with it. The one other thing I wanted to ask about edX is, has anyone? One of the issues that I have is I have some classes on Tuesday and some on Thursday, and what I try and do is not release these assignments prior to class so that they can all start together and work together in class.
I do the same thing.
And I release it now. I'm releasing it now on Tuesday. The problem is that my Thursday people then see it all.
Right.
And there is some kind of groups feature inside edX, and I've never used it. And I'm just wondering if I can sort of delay release, or if anyone's ever used that, if I should look into that.
Like there's a cohort feature, and right. I haven't used that. I can't say that would necessarily be a smooth process. They do have a cohort thing, but I don't know that it even supports what you want to do, which is that you want to like adjust visibility on that thing.
I think, and I will look into it or not, or just live with it. I think what it may allow me to do is release it partially to just my Tuesday students if I bother to create that group, which may be too tedious.
Right.
And then on Thursday, I think I could undo that and release it to everyone. That was my thought. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. Just checking to see if anyone knew anything. If you were saying like avoid it at all costs, that would.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I know that it's there, and I did look at it at one point. It was a long time ago, and I now don't remember exactly what it supports or not. So
and my last
go on.
The last thing on my list is my TAs. I need to add to the right groups, and I think I have some permissions. With the mailing lists and this and that. I just realized in the last day or two that I forgot to do that. So whether I need them, I think I can put them on the mailing list. I'm not sure if I have the GitHub, if I have access to get them on Facebook.
Give it all a try, and if you get stuck, I can help you out.
Right. So that's all. So just keep an eye out for that, and I'll email or whatever. Is that kind of thing, Sam? Do you prefer that stuff like to the entire list? Or just to you? Are you're okay?
I think that's probably, it's not worth bothering the rest of the list about, because no one else can help apart from me.
Right. Okay, good.
But whenever it's something that like
I know you like everything to the entire list, which I agree with, but sometimes I carefully say this one's just.
I think we have to consider there's some people who prefer to minimize their email income, and I think if somebody's asking how to do something, or when you know already that it's something that only I will be able to fix for you. I mean, and more particularly for you guys, I'm always available.
Just add it. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, in the background there, interestingly, I've just been, doing the Code Academy thing, and I do actually appear to be stuck here on Code Academy on this page. I don't know if you've noticed in the background. I don't know if you can necessarily see my screen, but I'm just here on the second thing where we're going through data types of numbers, strings, and booleans. And I believe I followed the instructions to set these, add extra space there, let's see. And I can run this, and it appears to be doing, I doubt that it's the extra spaces, and saving it, runs it. But I then can't click next here. And I can imagine that that's the kind of situation where somebody might get
right. And what he says, he keeps doing it until it basically sort of completely fails, and and is somehow maybe able to move. Did you ever try in this did you try refreshing the page, and did that help?
I just did it now, and it did not help.
Okay.
So that's interesting. I mean, I think that the thing that I really empathize with the situation from the student, as you say, highly strung. There are people who, when they encounter an issue, will kind of repeat on it until they get into a very, very challenging emotional state. And then they will do things that have knock-on consequences, and it can be very unpleasant and challenging and so on. I think that in this situation, the thing that, and I mean, I'm sure you'll do, this is not news to you. I think what I would be working with in the students, as well as what Rose was saying about, which is about, you know, all those things of like sort of telling them about the real world, is I think in this situation, when they have a problem with Code Academy and it's, you know, being used by a lot of other people, is that what they need to do is like report it not to you as the instructor. They need to report it to Code Academy, the organization, and reach out for help from them. And they also need to, like, it's a metacognitive issue of, don't spend like, as soon as you get stuck, reach out for help. I think is that, and in particular, it's not like, you know, get stuck and then continue reaching out for help continuously for 5 hours. It's okay. Like for me now, I've tried this. I've got stuck a few times. I will hear. I would say, like, I mean, interestingly, Code Academy have got a system in here for us. Like, I've completed this assignment in Safari, but the next button is still disabled. Here is my code, and you know, like having. I think we would all agree that the kind of sensible thing for this is, you know, you may feel deeply under pressure, right? I've got to get this assignment done for my lovely instructor, Richard Ilson, tomorrow. But it's sort of like, yeah, put that aside, you know, having reported you know, like encounter it, get stuck, you know, submit it to the, I've also got the community forums as well. And then, you know, mention that to the instructor, and then go and do an assignment for another class. You know,
well, it's funny because the only other student that responded to him said, basically, the way I do this is I do my other homework while homework for other classes because Code Academy is taking so long. So that was like only a mild. You know, I'm trying to smooth the introduction to the course, and you know, and what this guy is saying, and it's sort of legit, because he's saying, well, I can't really like attack, you know, the edX homework until I finish or at least make some more progress in Code Academy, because that's what I'm assigning in a sense to teach him Ruby. So it's a confluence of issues. He's not, you know, like I said, he's high strung. He could have written what he did in 3 sentences, and he wrote like 3 long paragraphs to everything.
I think that's 22. But I think Sam's strategy is a good one. And you might note, like, I mean, I often tell my students when they run into these problems and they can't get any further, that I'm not going to be rigid and, you know, insensible. If they can't get through something, then obviously I'm going to have to move a date or something. But, you know, I don't expect them to do the impossible.
And that's fine. You know, I'm good. But it sounds like this Code Academy thing is. I mean, I need to be sympathetic. You know, I think especially sympathetic if we're able to reproduce it.
I try to tell the students do what you can possibly do, and then after that, go on and do something else, because you know there's no point spinning your wheels.
Absolutely.
Yes. The only issue is that this Code Academy thing is, you know, I don't have a different tutorial, and I'm actually taking this as a grade, so it's not as easy to say, oh,
I guess the other thing that you could, I think, there are
some, he's concerned about.
I mean, you could. There are other Ruby intros, so you could offer him like the beginning of the Code School Ruby one. There's they have a Code School has like the first half of their lesson as a free.
But the issue with that, I mean, again, I hear what you're saying, but if he's the only one having the problem, I'm reluctant. You know, then there's something he's doing wrong. And if everyone is having the problem, I sort of need to know that, and we need to push. You know, we need to solve it for the entire class.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, keep your antenna out.
Yes, I will do. Well, and how, what's I mean, also,
people.
yeah, but Praveen was there suggesting that logging in and logging out again.
Yep. And these are things that people have, that he's tried or that he claims to have tried and so forth.
Yeah.
But again, even if it's tough when someone is in an agitated mode.
No, absolutely. When they're in it, I totally. I mean, I think we should wrap up. I mean, I was going to say maybe I'll get some feedback from Code Academy for the bug that I reported. But I have a not dissimilar situation related to helping a free member in Agile Ventures, where he's somebody. Yes, there are people who get somewhat agitated, and that you can give them lots of sensible advice, and because they're agitated, they can't even follow the sensible advice. Do you know what I mean? Or they spend their time arguing with you. Especially one of my sons does this quite a lot. Of you're trying to help them with advice about, okay, in this situation, maybe you should do this and this, and their reaction is, well, I can't do that because this, and I can't do that because this, and no, and no, and no, and no, and then kind of like being calm and say, yes, well, no, that is a problem. That's challenging too. Yes, but with that problem, you could do this, and with that problem, you could do this. And I mean, the biggest thing is that fundamentally, yes, is that if it's emotionally fraught, just everything is difficult. So yeah, challenging stuff.
Can I add something here?
Please do, Rose.
Sure.
Just that,
and we need to talk about the meeting soon.
Yeah, if there's some sort of alternative, it would be great. I don't know if there is, but
yeah, alternatives to Ruby Code Academy. Yes, that's a good. Yeah. So let's move to wrapping the
right. My issue, just to make clear, I am grading them on Code Academy, so that's why they're more agitated and to force them to do it. Okay, next topic.
Yeah. And so well, I think that we covered a good few things there. I guess the thing is meeting times, and so Ruby Monk's a good one as well. Well done, Praveen. Rose, you're saying you've got a class at noon Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That presumably continues to be the case.
Right. I let me see. I go from noon to almost 5 straight.
Right. Goodness me.
Mondays, Fridays, and then and then Fridays I go from noon to 6. Right. Straight through.
Goodness. So noon to 5. So I mean, basically Tuesdays and Thursdays would be much better for you, by the sound of it, Rose.
Yeah, obviously, but I realize that might not be so good for other people.
Yes. Yeah.
And I will just say that Tuesdays and Thursdays are very awful, and Thursdays are just pretty awful.
Okay. Okay. So that's.
My Thursday is actually pretty full too, but
yeah. Indeed. Yeah. So
I teach straight from 8 to 5 on Tuesday.
Right. Ooh. Rose. So and then we've got Tuesday. Awful.
Sound like they're out of the question.
And Thursday. Yes, like sort of awful. Okay, right. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess this comes down then to sort of my evolving relationship with my kids about what activities they're doing, what evenings. Let us at least, Richard, you and I can have a check-in next Monday, and we will see how we can evolve going forward.
Okay, and Rose, I know this may not work for others, but what would be the latest Monday that you could start?
Well,
30, 10, just your time.
Look, I can attend at 11:30, but it's just that like about 10 of I've got to take off.
Yeah, and because she's working noon through 5, so it would be 5 p.m. I mean, maybe 5 p.m. Eastern, like you guys could meet, but then that's like 10 p.m. I'm putting my kids to bed and trying to go to sleep myself.
No,
so
obviously,
so it's yeah. Well, we'll keep looking at it. One never knows if exciting things will happen, like classes will get cancelled, or who knows. But we'll keep looking at it. What I will say, Richard, is there some way that we could arrange that you had a better internet connection? for our
Yes,
subsequent
yes.
meetings?
It's part of. I mean, I certainly can think, and that's what I used to do. Because of the nature of the holiday and so forth.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're in a temporary set.
And things have been better here. As far as I know, the fair next door, with all of its generators and electricity.
You've got a lot of electrical interference that is affecting what's going on
Exactly. So,
there.
so yeah, I will try not to hurt things. I'm sorry about it, but.
Oh, no problem. I think we managed today. Yes, I was just checking if, like, we would be addressing that going forward, and it sounds like we will. Excellent. All right, yeah, go on, Rose.
Just that let's not wish for exciting things to happen, because they might.
Well, no, absolutely. Did I say exciting things? I meant boring things. Sorry. Yes, that's.
Okay, good. Let's boring things.
That was an entirely misstatement on my part. I was just going to go to. We should, yeah. I guess the Code Academy. Yeah, so we've got the list here of some of the other, like, basically this is the set of all of the Ruby stuff that we know about here. So there is. Yeah. I mean, try. I guess the challenge, of course, for Richard is you're.
Yeah, I've tried some of those. I like the Code Academy because it's because it's so foolproof. When it works. Yeah.
Totally.
And some of those other things aren't. And I only have 2 students actually complaining out of 165. So who knows?
I mean, that's, if there were no people complaining, I'd be really worried. That would be like the calm before the storm, wouldn't it? It's
true.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Okay. Yeah. Well, we got through a chunk of things there, and the way forward is clear, or at least I think it is, and that's enough for me. Great. Okay. Great to see you all. Yeah, we'll try and work out a better meeting time. But have a fantastic week, despite all the difficulties, and do enjoy the rest of the. Is it the Labor Day holiday today?
Yes.
Supposedly.
Indeed. I wish you a happy Labor, if that's what I'm supposed to say. I'm not sure how these American things work.
Well, I want to get ready for my classes and go out and play some tennis. I don't know if I'll be able to do it all today.
Well, good luck with the tennis.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Bye for now. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye for now. Thank you. Take care.